Wide World of Sodas.
Here we go again.
After a brief hiatus. It feels like it's been about 3 weeks since we've gotten together, and I forgot the soda, and it became it became sodaless. But this week, I am here with the Jones Green Apple Soda for us to try.
I'm looking forward to it. This is Dave.
Scott. Hang on.
It got shook up in his backpack.
It did. Let's see. I think we're ready, though.
All right, there we go. Let's give it a try.
Scott, you didn't get much ice. Yours is going to be more. Mine's going to be a little watered down. There you go, sir.
All right. Oh, it does have a nice green apple smell. That is green, by the way. That is super green. Look at that. That's crazy. Wow. Oh, that is delightful.
It is. It reminds me a little bit of like an apple beer kind of thing.
Yeah, that's got a good apple taste to it. It's really good.
It's not overly sweet.
No. It's
got a good bite to it.
Yeah.
You know what? The people at Jones Soda, they know what they're doing. They really do. This is good stuff.
Yeah, I'd recommend that. That's well worth the investment there.
Yeah. Well worth the carbs. This is definitely
full of sugar.
They say, it's pure cane sugar soda.
Much better than corn syrup.
Yeah, absolutely. If you can get the sodas with the cane sugar in it, you're always better off. You're always happier. I mean, I like the artificial sweeteners myself a little bit, the chemicals, but this is good. This is it.
Yeah, I can do this. It's always works well.
So anyway, topic today, I left it to you to come up with a topic for us.
Well, and I bailed. I kind of just went with a version of our last topic, which was back to school, or which was summer.
Yeah.
And now it's back to school. So.
Yeah. Well, it is back to school. I got 2 boys heading back, one to high school and one to junior high, and you're all done, right?
I've got one starting college this fall. So,
okay, there you go.
Yeah. So mostly done.
So I was thinking we'd do it this way. I know you've got some tunes, some iconic back-to-school tunes.
Hopefully.
And as you share your songs, I'm going to intersperse them with 3 of my favorite school-themed kind of movies from the 80s.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, let's do that.
So go for it.
So you can't... Every back-to-school mix has to have some Van Halen, and Hot for Teacher, you got to start there, right?
Whoa. That's one of those videos. I mean, forget the song.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord, is it Waldo that's the little guy in that video?
I don't remember.
I think
to be honest
his name was Waldo, the little guy getting on the bus and going to school, and then all sorts of pandemonium. Just
with the Van Halen boys and David Lee Roth just going crazy. But no, it's a great video. It's a good song too. Great way to kick off your back to school is Hot for Teacher.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite songs off of 1984, right? It was that first album where Eddie was playing around with synthesizers, kind of experimenting a little bit. The sound was still there, that trademark Brown sound that he has with his guitar, but definitely well, it was for them, it was huge. That album was huge, and that song was great. I mean, you had Jump, Panama, and Hop It for Teacher.
Right.
And Oh Wait, I don't know if you remember that one. Just another great song. Heavy synthesizers on that one.
Yeah,
so anyway,
and 1984 as well.
Oh, yeah. So, why don't you go with song number 2 since I've only got 3 movies?
All right, and this one is also, the video kind of brings it out. Because you don't get it necessarily from the lyrics, but
I'm
definitely
going to make
fun
of you a little bit on this one,
well,
right?
and you have to. You should make fun of me because this is way outside my normal genre, but Britney Spears, the Baby One More Time. So, because of the video,
that schoolgirl outfit.
The schoolgirl outfit. Actually, of all of her songs, this one is decent.
Give you that. It's one of my. There's not really all that many Britney Spears songs I like, but that one is one that I can see myself not turning the channel when it comes on,
right,
or flipping the station. Yeah, it's and when it came out, I will admit to having one, paid attention to the video, 2. Because we were talking about it earlier. We weren't quite lecherous 50-year-olds back when that came out.
No.
we were still lecherous, but not 50.
But not 50, yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, the song's a decent song.
Yeah, it's a decent song, and it's not my normal genre, but
Right.
it's worthwhile as a back to school.
I think it is, absolutely. So we're going to start with my number 3 school movie from the 80s.
Okay.
And it's one that you said you never heard of. This just totally boggles my mind. Summer School, starring Mark Harmon, Kirstie Alley, Courtney Thorne-Smith is in this movie, and Dean Cameron, I want to say, but directed by not Rob, but Carl is dead. Carl Reiner. You've never heard of this film?
I hadn't heard of it before you mentioned it, but I mean, all of those actors I know, and Mark Harmon from NCIS fame now, but probably back at that time.
He was just a young buck back then.
Back then, probably more known for the Ted Bundy role he played.
Maybe. I'm trying to think. That was probably early 80s, wasn't it? So this was this was like 1985, 86, somewhere around there. But great, lightweight. I mean, we're not talking... I don't think any of these movies can be considered heavy fare, but lightweight comedy with some good morals to it. It just kind of made you feel good. You laughed. There was good chemistry between Harmon and Kirstie Alley, who was another teacher there that was teaching during the summer, trying to help these kids that were all, one way or another they didn't quite fit in. Help them to get their grades up so that they could continue pursuing their academic careers. It's a really fun movie, and if you haven't seen it, I would recommend it.
Yeah, since we talked about it and since I know who's in it, I'm going to go look for it.
Check her out.
Check it out.
Check her out.
See if I can find it somewhere.
Okay, number 3.
Number 3, Smoking in the Boys' Room.
Oh, yeah. Now, I asked you immediately which version.
Yeah, you know what? I'm a fan of both. I like the Motley Crue version. I'm a headbanger, so I like the Motley Crue version. But the Brownsville Station version is very good as well. And they probably play the Brownsville Station one on the classic rock channels more than the Motley Crue.
I think you hear that one as much as the Motley Crue version these days. I mean, back in the 80s and 90s, you definitely heard the Motley Crue version more. But as time's gone on, I think for whatever reason, you just kind of go back to the original, right? Those guys wrote the song. They deserve to have it played on the radio.
Sure.
For me, it is a Brownsville Station song.
Oh, there you go.
So good stuff, and definitely, again, worthy of... not that I ever participated in that while I was at school, but
that's not something I did in high school. So.
Worthy of a mention. So number 2, as I work my way backwards on the school movies from the 80s, would be... Back to School, starring Sir Rodney Dangerfield.
Mr. Rodney Dangerfield. This was a funny movie.
Oh, love this movie. The moment where he's written a report on Vonnegut. I can't remember which book. Was it Slaughterhouse 5 or whatever? And the teacher, who was the nurse that played Hot Lips Houlihan in the MASH movie, Sally Kellerman, tells him that it's a horrible paper and gives it back to him, and then you see him knocking on this door, and he's like, "Vonnegut, you suck!" and throws the paper back at him.
Yeah,
nice little cameo from Kurt Vonnegut, noted respected novelist and author. It's just a fun movie, and I don't know if you remember this. It was one of Robert Downey Jr.'s first films.
Oh, I did not know that.
So he wasn't the main character, the son.
No, he wasn't the son.
He was the kind of the weird, odd friend of the son.
Yeah, I remember that now. That's interesting. But it was interesting with the diving aspect of this. It's not something you normally see from a college movie, as platform diving. It was okay.
Fun movie.
It was a fun movie.
And to tie in the whole music theme, both Summer School and Back to School, the soundtrack for both of those movies was by an iconic soundtrack guy from the 80s, at least the last half of the 80s, Danny Elfman.
Oh, Mr. Elfman.
And in Back to School, I believe his band Oingo Boingo makes an appearance singing
there you go.
Dead Man's Party.
Dead Man's Party, yes, there you go. Awesome.
All right, next song.
Next song would be Another Brick in the Wall.
Oh yeah,
by Pink Floyd.
Knew you were gonna, how could you not?
I know. I mean, you got the kids. I mean, singing in the background, right? About we don't need no education. So, that goes way back in my lifetime. Yeah. To some very odd times for me, and so the psychedelic nature of that song kind of hit me at a time when I was in that weird. Post-teenage transition realm.
No one's exempt from that, by the way.
Okay, so it's not just me.
Everybody goes through that weird post-teenage realm, and Pink Floyd, and particularly those albums Dark Side of the Moon and The Wall, they definitely tap into that weird.
Yes.
Late teenage years, early 20s realm where we're all just trying to figure crap out.
Yep.
Right?
That's it.
All right. Number one, you guys knew what it was going to be. You had to know where I was going with 80s school movies, the classic, The Breakfast Club.
Yes.
John Hughes was, I don't think, any filmmaker, writer, director. I don't know if he directed as much as wrote the stories for those movies, the screenplays, but just iconic. He's forever will be associated with the 80s, whether it's Ferris Bueller's Day Off or Pretty in Pink.
Yep.
All these great movies. It's
a Brat Pack movie.
Yeah,
so.
It was. It was filled with a great cast. Emilio Estevez, Ali Sheedy, Molly Ringwald, Judd Nelson, and the little guy. It's the little squirrely guy's name, Michael something, right?
Yes. And had you not said anything,
I know,
I remember.
You would have known. Anyway, everybody knows who I'm talking about. He actually kind of bulked up at the, he was no longer a little guy later on.
Michael Anthony Hall.
Yes, and he did like the Dead Zone. A television version of the Dead Zone.
that was a cool television.
And he wasn't a little fella. Right. He's turned into a great actor over the years, and he was funny in these shows. And that movie, the iconic soundtrack, I think it might have been one of Hughes' best movies.
Yeah, great soundtrack to that too. Yeah. So and a good movie. I mean, I made sure my kids had a chance to watch that growing up, and hopefully they got as much out of it as I did.
Yeah. A little bit of trivia: the song "Don't You Forget About Me," which is so pivotal in that movie, sung by Simple Minds, offered to Billy Idol, but he passed on.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
Wasn't in his genre, I guess.
Guess not. Okay, you got another one for us?
All right, so close it out with The Police, Don't Stand So Close to Me, stalker song.
Yeah.
But, teacher-student relationship song. I mean, I don't know why the song is so good when you listen to the lyrics.
Yeah. Well, so stalker song is Every Breath You Take.
Okay, there you go.
This one is just inappropriate. Wrong. They talk about it, and that's if Sting's lyrics are great. It talks about the book by Nabokov, which is Lolita.
Yes.
So obviously some very adult topics in that song about a relationship between a teacher and his student.
Right. Still a good song.
Great
song. Just don't pay attention to the lyrics.
Yeah, well, or learn from them.
There you go.
All learn from the lyrics. I will say this. Very disappointed that you didn't give my friend Alice Cooper a nod for School's Out.
But it's School's Out, not Back to School.
That's true. So it's kind of the opposite of what we're talking about.
Right. Could have been our Start of Summer song.
We should
have looked at that one. But a couple of honorable mentions.
Yeah.
We got the Ramones out there with Rock and Roll High School. It was so close to making it, but I had to kind of, go
Did you ever see
somewhere
the
with
movie?
that. I did not.
PJ Souls.
Okay.
That's all I remember really about the movie. I haven't seen it for 25, 30 years, but PJ Souls was in Stripes.
Yes.
She was Bill Murray's love interest, if I remember right. And she's in that movie too. That's all I really remember. I've seen it once, many, many years ago. Can't remember hardly anything.
Yeah. And then I know you're a Kinks fan.
Yep.
So the Kinks have two songs, School Days and Education, which not played a lot, but definitely worth a listen.
You won't find those on classic radio very often, but that is so true with most of the Kinks songs these days. Right. You really don't get a lot of them. I don't know why. Great band that trends. They were 60s, I think, 70s and 80s. Yeah. Even in the 80s with the Give the People What They Want album, as well as the one with Come Dancing. So Come Dancing was great too.
Good stuff.
Yep. All right. Well, what else? I think once again we should give the fine folks at Jones Cane Sugar Soda Company a resounding thumbs up for their awesome green apple soda.
Yeah, definitely worth a try.
And to those of you that have kidlets that are going back to school, or maybe you are going back to school, we say best of luck in this forthcoming academic year.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, and
give us a thumbs up.
We do want a thumbs up. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We talk about in all its many different incarnations, music, movies, and television from the 60s, 70s, 80s, sometimes 90s. But that's stretching it. But most of all, as always,
thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate it.